Hello class, this is Dr. Schwab here, and I'd like to do a short video on Activity 1 for validity and reliability. And before we get started, I should mention, guys, that I do have a little bit of a cold, so hopefully you guys can understand me clearly, and it shouldn't affect the video. Normally I like to do videos where I'm feeling much better, but you guys need to see this video because it will help you with this activity. One of the feedbacks I got from the summer course and the assessment was that students didn't understand validity and reliability, and they asked me if I could pull some things out of the PowerPoint that would help them understand it better. So I've created a little assignment that I think will help you guys with it. So first of all, let's look at our terms. In layman's terms, I'm going to put this very simply. Validity means, does the content measure what it's supposed to measure? And reliability means, if I gave this test twice in a row, would I get similar scores? And if I have a similar test, so let's say I have test 1 and test 2, would I get similar scores? That's basically validity and reliability. So let's take a look at the assignment here. Activity 1. The purpose is to help you understand the difference between validity and reliability and apply the concepts to real examples. So you're going to pick 2 assessments that I've attached under the Activity 1 and analyze them, or you may use your own assessments as long as they measure the same content and are a similar type of assessment. Then you're going to complete a table for each question for each form. So let's go ahead and do that now with a little this is not an example for you guys, this is one for me. So this is a quiz, a set of 2 quizzes that I created for a research study I was doing. So let's just call this form A here. The first one is name this fraction. So the content I would call this is for question 1, I'm going to put sample here because this is an example. Identify the fraction from a drawing. Now, is it the same as Form B here? So let's go to Form B here and look at this one. Yep, it's the exact same type of question. So, once again, identify the fraction here from a drawing. So these are the exact same type of question. Now, let's imagine this was reading, for example, though. And let's say I had main idea here. And let's just say the next one was also main idea. And the third one was main idea. And then let's say this was sequence of events and sequence of events. And let's say my Form B was this: sequence of events, sequence of events, sequence of events, and then main idea, main idea. So notice how there's 3 here and 3 and 2. That's not as bad, but if the student was really good with main idea, but not very good with sequence of events, so if this was a main idea, and a sequence of events. So let's say the student was good at main idea, but not good at sequence of events. His score here would be higher than on this one. And that's not because I did any good instruction necessarily, but it's more because the measurements are not balanced. So what you guys are going to do is list these questions, and you're going to look at and see how balanced they are. And those are things you want to talk about in your assessment portfolio. So after you've made that little table here, then you need to answer, are the two assessments valid? Discuss in detail with at least 3 examples to support your conclusions. Step 4, are the two assessments reliable? In other words, discuss in detail with 3 examples to support your conclusions. And then I'd like to know, was this assignment helpful? Do you feel more comfortable with the concepts of validity and reliability? I'm working hard to help you guys understand some of these concepts that other students have said they struggled with. So, one more thing I'd like to show you guys. So, when I do a research study, you don't need to do this, but I just want you to see how this looks. I have to have valid and reliable instruments, otherwise the research study is not going to be valid at all. So, what I do when I'm doing this is I list each test is right here, and I list each question here. So this is that same fraction test we just looked at. And if you look here, name this fraction 3/4, and then these two are 1. But on test 2, I have simplification. In other words, the fraction can be simplified. That could throw off a student. So that could be a little bit less reliable. So on my test here, I would put that in my notes under here on a Form B, that there's 2/6 or 1/3 here. So I know to mention that down here when I discuss it in step 4. Another thing I look at is on adding fractions. How many times do both denominators change? How many times do one denominator change? Because I want to be as even as I can on this. This one's not perfect, I don't think. Because if only one denominator changes, that's an easier problem than if both change. So I just want to give you some ideas of how I think about these particular types of problems and how I think about validity and reliability. Now, for this activity, you're doing a lot of writing to analyze the assessment. After you practice this, you should be able to look at the test and get a good idea whether or not it's valid and reliable, based on the types of questions, how even the types of questions are, and what types of questions are on there. So guys, that's it for now. Please email if you have any questions. And I should mention that the reason we're doing this in 2 weeks increments is because students in past semesters have said they need more time on some of these assignments, because the assessment portfolio tends to take a lot of work. So I'm giving you guys more time, and hopefully these assignments are all going to help you guys get better with assessment. And so I really do want your feedback on this. Anyways, guys, that's all for now. And feel free to email me if you have any questions.